we go, December 10th, 2025, and the Jesus Entrepreneur has made it. We made it into 2025 and we're ready for 2026. Hi, I'm Stan Hustad. I'm the one who's one of the leaders and the founders of this movement, and we welcome you to another adventure. Here we go. Did Jesus ever say, "Well, guys, what do you think?" Well, let's listen to the story. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and wild young men who might actually be interested in knowing how they could be world-class Jesus entrepreneurs. My name is Stan. I'm Stan the Radio Man, and Stan the man who wants very much for us to understand that not me, but the man, Jesus, is an example for how we can live our lives. The author of salvation, the creator of the world, actually can be a part of your business team and be a significant model for how you can be at your best in the marketplace. And today is Wednesday. It is December 10th, and that means we are 2 weeks from Christmas Eve, and that means we are 3 weeks from New Year's Eve. And so I'm grateful because for sure, I had often said at the beginning of the year, ups and downs and backs and forth, that it was this year that I wanted to make sure that the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, part of the Christian Entrepreneur Network, would be fully ready to be of service to men and women. And again, as I say, especially wild young men who want to serve Jesus would be ready to be in business. And we are. We made it. Thanks very much to my friend Tim Hare for Sarah Ventures, who is an entrepreneur, one of the real godfathers of entrepreneurial thinking and the leader of Sarah Ventures, a world-class, certainly, venture capitalist firm. And he might be very helpful to us. And in fact, I know he will probably be on the program from time to time. He's very busy right now. Now today, what I'd like to do is just simply do a little bit of an inconvenient idea. Now, please keep in mind that Jesus was full of inconvenient ideas. Now, I've had a program for years called Interesting Ideas and Inspiring Ideas, because the essence of how we make it in the world of innovation and business is that we are continually coming up with new ideas and telling stories and seeing if people will say, that's a good idea. Maybe I should invest in your company. Maybe I should buy your product. Maybe I should hire you. That's the goal. That we make a connection with people, that our story and their story come together, and that's how we do business together. So I'm going to be full of inconvenient ideas, and here's one that I'm just going to challenge you with today. Maybe it's okay not to ask the gang or the team, what should we do? Now, of course, I know all of the conventional thinking. Yes, it's a team effort. Sure. Okay. Yes, it's just wonderful to ask your teammates and your colleagues, what do you think we should do? Participative management. And there's a lot to be said for that. But remember, sometimes conventional wisdom is not wisdom at all. If it's conventional wisdom, it's just conventional thinking. And conventional thinking is seldom wisdom. Because wisdom will always bring us very much to the edge of things. And that's why Jesus got into trouble. Because conventional wisdom said X, Y, Z, you name it. And he said, Not so fast. I think, I believe, I am. I think, I believe, I am. Now, what do you ever say about yourself? Do you ever say, I think, I believe, I am? And are you sometimes a little bit too immodest by saying, I know? Do you ever say, this is true? This is true. Another thing that one of my broadcast friends taught me, he said, when you hear something that is silly or not true, don't argue with it. Just simply say, that's not true. And then pause. Don't then try and correct them, just declare. That's not true. Remember, your job as a leader is to be a teacher and a person who from time to time creates a little bit of mystery. He fell a little bit out of popularity, but he kept his integrity. Bill Hybels wrote a wonderful book called, Too Busy Not to Pray. And it's still a wonderful book. And one of the things I loved about it is he said, in his description of what it means to be a real Christian or an authentic Christian. And he said, one of the descriptions that we should have is that we keep people slightly off balance. We create a little bit of mystery about who we are and what we do. But in the midst of that, they discover that, we are a little bit mysterious and we keep it a little bit off balance. You can be trusted. You can be trusted. Now, I've had the same experience that many of you had. You've worked with people who you thought you could trust, and they couldn't be trusted. You've had a Judas event. I said, if you're on your way to a Jesus event, there's a good chance you're going to run into a Judas event, and that means someone's going to betray you. Someone's going to do you not well. Ever had that happen? Oh, yes. A Judas event. Now, I just simply want to suggest to you that we need strong leadership. And I'm not sure that Jesus ever said, well, guys, maybe gals, we think they're there. Hi, guys. Hi, gals. What do you think we should do now? What's our next step? Now, he might have, but we don't seem to have any record of that. Of course, remember, it's just the personal testimony of 4 or 5 people. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then some others that kind of come along and get themselves in the story. However, here we go, is Jesus seemingly almost would have had, at least in some people's mind, kind of a little bit of an authority complex. And that's what kind of shocked people. Who gave him the authority to think like this? Where does this come from? Who does he think he is? Has anyone ever said that about you? Well, who do they think they are? Just simply remind yourself that Jesus was fairly certain after his baptism and after his victory over temptation in telling the devil where to go, and he did, he became pretty authoritarian. He told the story. He had he was a master salesman. Told stories, asked questions. You want to learn how to sell something, including yourself, Jesus is the master. As I oftentimes say, the master entrepreneur, the master teacher came into the world and he told stories and asked questions. So what do? We preach sermons and give answers, or we send memos, or we send texts. Maybe he knew something about how you lead and how you communicate. Just a thought. So I will really ask you, live in the tension of knowing that there are times when it is a very, very good thing to ask others, friends, colleagues, even competitors, teammates, what do you think? But please keep in mind, Jesus very much oftentimes said, this is what we are going to do. And they looked at him and said, are you out of your mind? We're going to get killed. Should we really do that? That's what he did. And he did it well. And so I would just ask you, as a Jesus entrepreneur, to ask God to give me the wisdom to know when I ask and when I seek counsel and when I seek wisdom, but let me know, most importantly, when I should listen to you. And no matter what anybody else says, I do what I am called to do. Donald Trump, who people say he's an authoritarian personality. Well, he is. Most leaders tend to be. He had a funny joke one time, which it was a joke, but it wasn't meant to be. It had a double meaning. He said, people say I'm hard to work for. He said, no, I'm easy to work for because I just make all the decisions. You don't make any decisions if you work for me. You just, I do the decision. You just have to do them. Now, again, let's have a sense of humor. Let's smile. And that Donald Trump is not like Jesus, and Jesus is not like Donald Trump. But please keep in mind, we are called to live in the Holy Spirit tension of knowing. Sometimes we ask. Sometimes we request. But we are oftentimes called to say, this is the way. We are often called to say, this is the way. This is the way it is. This is what we're going to do. Let's do it. And let's do it right. I'm Stan. Just a few words on how we might be able to be a kind of a master of the marketplace because we are following the master entrepreneur. Best and blessings. I could use your help, your support, your encouragement. And if you want to send a little contribution or a little tip from time to time, we will be happy to receive it. But this is free. From me to thee. Bye for now.